Hey guys, it's Milton Andrade again, and I'm here today because I wanted to show you how I leverage AI to get data for my clients to help them make the best decision. So I recently had a client that said to me, Milton, I'm interested in a vacation property, but I wanted to know that it's a good investment, right? He needs to make sure that he's making the right decision for his family. So first I went into the MLS. I went into Matrix here and I'm looking up the address of the property. This is Mansions at Acqualina, which I gotta tell you is an absolute beauty. Beautiful property, and it's like the #1 best beach resort in the United States, voted by Forbes. So I'll tell you, they don't just do that for anybody. So here we go, 17745 Collins, or was this 49? 17749 Collins Avenue. So the reason why I'm pulling up all of the properties is because here is the hack. We're gonna select all of them. I'm gonna put this into my data export format that's giving me all the relative data points that I need. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to export this into a CSV file, and then I'm gonna go to Claude.ai. Here we go, Claude. And Claude artifacts is what we're looking for. We're gonna upload the information and analyze it in a way that we can break down the price per square foot, the rentability. We're doing it in 2 parts. The first part is going to be what's the average price per square foot, which are the ones that are closed, which ones expired and why, and we're gonna analyze it really well. So as I log into Claude, I'm gonna upload this document and I tell Claude, hello Claude, I like to do that. Please help me analyze the following data that I exported from the MLS. I would like to show the client all the relevant data points to help them understand more about this building and the sales data. And then I'm going to ask it to please create artifacts to help better understand the information. Enter. Now check this out. It's pretty crazy. It's writing code, it's analyzing the data, it's gonna give me text, and it's gonna give me graphs and pie charts that I'll be able to work with over and over to really get it down to a granular level and make it easy to understand for my clients. Now, I could have downloaded all this data and gone over it line by line, created spreadsheets of my own, but then I'd have to tell the client, give me a few days. Now I can tell the client, give me a few hours. Or maybe even give me 1 hour, so we can really make our decision and make the best of the time that he has available to make this decision. So keep in mind, this is AI. We want to make sure they're looking at the right data points. And sometimes it gets it wrong. So you really want to look at it. And I'm saying here, this is not even correct. So I'm going to go, Claude, please take a look at the data again and give me the price per square foot of sold condos compared to active and the ones that expired. Tell me the accurate price per square foot for a waterfront unit. So you want to have a conversation. Make sure that it's doing it correctly. And of course, I always check the data, but this is gonna speed things up, leveraging AI, staying on the top of my game to make sure that I'm doing the best for my client. Perfect. So now it says the average price per square foot in this building is about $1,700 per square foot. And it's gonna range from $1,500 to about $2,200 per square foot. This is the data that I wanted. So as you can see, now it understood better what I wanted, and I can see which properties have expired, which properties have closed. So I can see that $1,497 a square foot is closed, over 1,500 square foot has expired. Currently, the active sales are ranging from $1,700 to over $2,000 a square foot. So that tells you that the sellers in this building believe that prices are going up. That means I want to make sure that I'm looking conservatively for my client so I can explain to him how if we get it at $1,500 a square foot, it's a good deal compared to the asking price. Now, I'm going to go back in here and I'm now going to download the rental data. And we're going to find out how many months you have to have this property rented to have it pay for itself. So that is what we're doing today. So now we're going to go into rental and property address again. There we go. We look for rented over the last year, but let's look over the last 6 months. I'm sorry, a year, because there's not a lot of activity in the building. And we're also going to look at the expireds. Perfect. We got 5 units. Now these units rent at a nice, decent rental. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put it into my data export format. Let me silence this phone. Now, we're going to put it into my data export format because I'm really just looking for the data points. I don't need any of the links. We're going to export it again. We're going to go back into Claude. And now we're going to ask Claude to analyze the rental. So now, please analyze the rental data so I can help the client understand how many months of rentals would be required to cover the carrying costs. Now, I'm going to estimate what the taxes are going to be because the client is purchasing at a different price. So I'm going to tell it taxes are about $80,000 a year for this property, and maintenance fees with maintenance fees and reserves are about $10K per month. Keep in mind these are 5,000 square foot units, and the extra $2,000 in the maintenance fee is to cover reserves, which is going to end in about a year and a half. But the client said, what is going to be a good deal? How many months of the year do I have to have this rented so that it's paying for itself and I can enjoy the rest of the time? That's what he's asking for. That's what I'm going to deliver. So let's see what Claude has to say and what graphics he can put together. If you're a realtor and you're not leveraging AI, you are behind. You should be spending at least 30 minutes a day learning how to use these tools, or you will be replaced by AI. So I'm learning, I'm using it, I'm implementing it, I'm leveraging it to make myself more efficient so I can do a better job faster for my client and more clients overall. And that should be your focus. You got to grow. So, average rental, $40,000 a month. Carrying cost, $16,667. Here we have taxes, monthly costs, monthly income versus expenses. It's going to tell me here all of the data. It says average monthly rents, $40,000, ranging from $38 to $44. I know that there are some at around $50, but that is a little bit about 2 years ago, when 2022 was a little bit nuts. Currently, it says, according to this, we're going to need to rent this property out. Specifically, I believe it's around 4.5 months to cover the closing costs. How many months to cover the carrying expenses? Perfect. So it keeps analyzing it. You can keep going back and forth to try to get as much data out of this and then make it the way you want to see it. Because what I want to do is I want to copy and paste into an email this data with links to the artifacts so my client can look at it at their leisure. But here's another thing. Claude can make a web page for you that's mobile friendly so that your client can review all this data on their phone from wherever they may be in the world to help them make these decisions. So we're looking at, this property needs to be rented 4.5 to 5.5 months in order to cover its carrying costs. So for a client that wants to use this property for 6 months and rent it for 6 months, it's gonna cost them $0 if they're paying cash. And in this case, most people in these buildings do. So that is my hack. These are my tips and my tricks on how I analyze one building and compare it to the other with the same relevant data on the export from the matrix using AI to definitely understand it better and help my client make a better decision. So if you're looking for a knowledge broker that uses AI to analyze data for your benefit, then I'm your guy. Milton Andrade here, knowledge broker, team lead at Polaris Advisors at Compass, and it was a pleasure to show you how I do a little bit of my work.